Hey everybody, welcome to Math 155. In this lecture video, I would like to talk a little bit about simple interest. So let me share my screen real quick with you. Let me go find it real quick. I apologize for the delay. Give me 1 second, I almost got it. All right, so I'm gonna share my screen with you real quick. I'm gonna put up my calculator here just in a minute. All right. So from the previous lecture video, we talked a little bit about personal finance. So in this video, let's actually do some computation. Simple interest is probably the most fundamental basic formulas for financings, loans, borrowing money like car loans, overdraft protection, and credit cards. Okay, this is the most fundamental formula for borrowing money. So the formula says I equal to P times R times T. I stand for interest, okay? Interest is the amount charged by a lender for borrowing the money. So when you use this formula, by knowing P, R, and T, then you'll be able to find the interest. P stands for principal, the amount of money. Is a sum of the money on which the interest is being charged or the money you borrow. R is interest rate. T is time, got to be in years. Okay, that's very, very important that the time got to be in years. So I don't want everybody get confused with something called the APR. Okay, APR and this R in the formula is a little bit different. Okay, so sometimes in our computation, in the application problem, it will say APR. So we would treat those APR just like a regular R plugging into the formula. But what a true APR is the yearly interest rate that is charged for borrowing. Normally, APR is given, is given as a percentage per year. Okay. So interest rate R is not the same as APR. APR is actually calculated based on the loan, okay? APR is the rate paid on a loan when the rate is actually based on the actual amount owed for the length of time that is actually owed. So for example, okay, I'm gonna kind of go to another page here. For example, let's assume we're gonna borrow $1,000 at 10% interest rate R for 2 years. So ideally, to find its interest, that will be 1,000. Oops. Times 10%, as you can recall, is 0.1 times 2 years. So if I put this in the calculator, that should give me $200. So what it's saying is your overall interest, okay, should be $200. So let me see if I can put on my calculator here. So let's make an assumption, okay? To explain the APR, we kind of had to ask this question. So let's say after 1 year, we paid $500 in principal. And $100 in interest. So if I already paid $500 in principal, that means I still owe $500. If I already paid $100 in interest, that means I still owe $100. So after 1 year, sorry. All right, so after 1 year, I equal to principal times rate times time. After 1 year, I still owed $100 in interest. I still owed $500 in principal, and I still got 1 more year to go. So what should my interest rate be? So if you actually solve this equation, solving for R, the whole right-hand side is only one term. So 500 times R times 1 is 500. R is equal to 100. So when I divide both sides by 500, 100 divided by 500 is actually 0.2. And 0.2 represent 20%. So it's kind of weird because originally we said that the interest rate was only 10%. So why after 1 year it become 20%? Well, that's what it means to be the APR. APR is actually based on, let me read this again. It's based on, okay, the actual amount. It's actually based on the actual amount owed for the length of time that is still owed. So my second year, I don't owe as much interest and I don't owe as much principal. Therefore, my interest rate got to go up in order for the finance company to receive the entire $200 of interest that is originally agreed upon. So just try not to get confused with the APR versus the regular interest rate R. Now, most of the time, well, actually almost every time when you go borrow money from the banks and such, they will always tell you what the actual APR is, okay? The APR, so that means the finance company already calculated, okay, what you're gonna be owing every year. So that's why they went ahead and give you the APR, okay, from the very beginning. Future value is the amount of money that you need to pay back that will include principal plus the interest, okay? So the word future value can change, okay? Right now, future value in terms of borrowing money means how much money I need to pay back. So what I need to pay back is the principal plus the interest. Later on, later on when I give you an example on how much money would you have in your bank account in terms of investment, then that future value will be total amount of money in our bank account. All right, now let's take a look at some example here. Find the simple interest. So this question will make you find simple interest owed on a $980 loan for 5 years at a simple interest rate. So I purposely wrote simple interest rate here that tells us that we're going to use the simple interest rate formula. All right, so I need to find out how much interest. So that will be principal $980 times interest rate 12%, which is 0.12, times time, which is 5 years. So if I put out my calculator here, 980 times 0.12 times 5 years. My total interest I will need to pay back is $588. So this answer actually representing just the interest, okay? All right, suppose we should borrow $600 for 2 weeks and the amount the simple interest you must pay is $10 per $100 borrowed. What is the simple interest rate? So this question is asking for the interest rate R. So in order to find, so there are 4 things inside this formula: interest, principal, rate, and the time. You got to know 3 of them out of the 4 in order to figure out the missing one. So the $600 got to be the interest, the principal. It does not tell me what the rate is because the question is asking for the rate. The time is 2 weeks. Now remember earlier, I mentioned the time got to be the length of loan in years. So here we got to convert the 2 weeks into years. That will be 2 weeks out of 52 weeks in the year. So what's my interest? I need to know the interest before I can find R. The interest says, okay, you must pay $10 per $100 borrowed. So if I borrow $600, if I borrow $600 divided by every 100 I borrow, so that means I borrow 6 of those $100. For every $100 I borrow, I pay $10, and I borrow 6 of those. So that means my interest will be 60. All right. So since the right-hand side is only one term, I'm going to put all that in the calculator and see what that come out to be on the right-hand side. So this is going to, so I'm use a calculator. That will be 600 times R times 2 out of 52. And my calculator shows some crazy looking decimal. So I'm going to go ahead and convert it to a fraction. That'll be 300 over 13 R. So to get R by itself, I will need to divide both sides by 300 over 13. So in the calculator, I got to key in 60 first, then divided by parenthesis, because whenever I'm entering a fraction, I gotta always use a parenthesis. So that will be 300 divided by 13 in the parenthesis. So what the calculator will end up doing is 300 divided by 13 first before it will get divided by 60. And my answer is 2.6. Let me show key in, all right? 60 divided by. Let me show a typing, all right? 600 times 2 weeks out of 52 weeks in a year. Yeah, that's correct. So 2.6 here does not mean 2.6%, because this R is actually not percent yet. It's actually percent in decimal form. So if I times 100, it will actually tell me it's 260% is my interest rate. Okay. All right, try another one. Suppose the interest you paid was 960. So this 960 representing interest at the simple interest rate of 6% for 8 years. Find the amount of money you borrowed. So this problem is asking for money borrowed. So that will be looking for the principal. So I equal to principal times rates times time. So the interest, it says 960 equal to principal, I don't know, times the rate. 6% is 0.06 times 8 years. So the whole right-hand side, again, is only one term. So P times 0.06 times 8, 0.06 times 8. That will give me 0.48 P. So to get P by itself, we divide both sides by 0.48. So 960 divided by 0.48, my answer, $2,000. So the principal originally was $2,000. All right, let's look at another example. So suppose you purchase a refrigerator. So let's borrow money to buy a refrigerator. For $1,235, it made payments of $58.14 per month for 2 years. What is the total amount of interest paid? So sorry, this is another question. Okay, let's see. Suppose to purchase refrigerators for this much money. So I'm borrowing this much money, but I'm also making payment of $58.14 per month for 2 years. What's the total interest paid? So this question is looking for interest. So let me kind of explain why this formula does not work for this particular example. Check this out. What is the amount of interest paid? So it's looking for interest. I don't know what that is. If I'm missing interest, that means I got to know principal rate and time. I know my time is 2 years. I know my P is 1235. I got that, but I do not know what my interest rate R is. So I actually cannot use this formula to find the answer. So we got to begin to think about what does it mean to have this monthly payment of $58.40. So this is where, okay, think about this. If I make $58.14 a month for 2 years, at the end of the 2 years, I paid off what I borrowed. I paid all the money. So what does pay off means? If I pay something off, if I pay off my debt or what I borrowed, pay off means we have paid what? We have paid principal, what we borrowed, which is $12.35 plus the interest. Okay, when we pay something off, we have paid off both principal plus the interest. Okay, so how much money did I pay? At the end of 2 years, how much money did I pay? So if I take 58.14 times 2 years will be 24 payments. I have paid $13.95. I paid a total of $13.95, which inside that $13.95, it has $12.35 of the principal plus the interest. So in order for me to find interest, remember now this whole problem is looking for what's the interest paid. So all I had to do to find interest is to take my payoff, the total amount I paid, minus what I borrowed. Okay, that's how we use the payment here to help us. Oh, 13.95, 36 cents, sorry. So minus 12.35, my answer, 160.36. All right, so where does the 13.95 come from? The 13.95 comes from $58.14 a month times 24 payments. Okay, 2 years, 24 payments. So I need to figure out what's the total amount of money I paid, or what my payoff is, and subtract off what I borrowed. Then you will tell me what my interest is. All right, let's do this problem. I'm gonna move this problem downward a little bit. So this problem says if a business borrows $18,000 and repays 26,100. So this repays is basically the same as earlier I used a 58.14 times 24 payments. Okay, the total amount paid is 26,100. What is the simple interest rate? So this is the common mistake students make. Most of the students will say, okay, we borrow $18,000, so that's P. Looking for R, T is 4. So my interest, most people, this is where the mistake is. Most students put 26,100 for the interest. That's actually incorrect because it never said the interest was $26,000. It says it repays $26,000. So that means inside the $26,000, it has both principal plus the interest, right? When we repay something, we pay both principal plus the interest. So by putting 26,100 here, we'll actually throw our answer off. So what is the interest that this business paid? Well, to find the interest, all we had to do is take 26,100 subtract 18,000. Then that will tell me exactly how much interest we paid. Which is $8,100. So the interest paid is only $8,100. All right, so now I can find my rates. So 18,000 times R times 4. 18,000 times R times 4 is 72,000 R. Set it equal to 8,100. So to get R by itself, we'll divide both sides by 72,000. So 8,100 divided by 72,000. My answer, 0.1125, round to the nearest percent. So this is not percent yet. So if I times 100, it becomes a percent, which is 11.25%. So if I round to the nearest, this question is a round the answer to the nearest percent, so that would be about 11%, okay? There we go. All right, so far these examples are borrowing monies. And you can give this a try, okay? As far as if you have a car payment right now, you can actually put the total amount of money, okay, that the car was, okay? When you're at the dealership, how much was your car? Put the number right here. Write down your car payment per month right here, and write down how many months that you're going to finance. Then all you have to do is take your monthly payment times how many months you're financing, multiply them together. That will tell you the total amount of money you will end up paying them. And take that number, subtract off how much was the original car, then it will tell you the interest that you will end up paying. Okay, a lot of students get surprised how much interest they actually end up paying on their car. All right, so this next two example is about investment or saving money. Again, using the same formula, simple interest rate formula. What is the future value? So right now, this future value that actually means how much money is in our account. Okay, this future value does not mean what I need to pay back, because I'm investing money. So that means the banks becomes, the borrower. We are the lender. So how much money should it be in my account when I invest $4,200 at 5% simple interest for 120 days? Okay. So before we can find the future value, I'm gonna use my simple interest formula. I equal to principal times rate times time. I wonder how much interest I will earn first. Then I can figure out how much money will be in my account. So that's 4,200 times 0.05. Remember, time got to be in years. So that will be 120 days out of, and let's use 365 days in a year. In the business world, there's only 360, but let's just use 365. So I'm going to assuming all the days in a year is 365. So let's see how much interest did we earn by investing into this account. 4,200 times 0.05 times open parenthesis 120 out of 365. So that'll give me about $69.04. So what this number means is this is the interest that I earn. So at the end of 120 days, how much money should be in my bank account? So my future value, and most of the time we use a calculator A, stand for future value. Future value will be principal, what I lended to the bank, plus the interest that I earn. So that will be 4,200 plus 69.40. So that will give me 42.69.04. That's how much money will be in my bank account. Okay. All right, try one more. John wants to save $1,000 if he has $750 and invested at 18% simple interest. How long would it take him to obtain $1,000? So a lot of students get confused about this problem because how much money does he actually invest? Well, he is going to invest $750 because he already has $750, and he wants to save up to $1,000. So what that means is he only wants the the financial institution to help him get the other $250 that he's missing. So he only wants this account to accumulate $250 worth of interest. That's what that means. Right? That's because that's what he's short. He's only short 250. So this is the interest he wants to earn. The question is asking, how long will it take him? Run the answer to the nearest day. So the interest he wants to earn is 250. And he is taking 700. Oops, my pen. He is taking $750 to the bank, invest at 18% interest rate times T. All right, so let's see. The whole right side is one term again. So let's see, 750 times 0.18 times T is 135 T. So to get T by itself, we'll divide both sides by 135. So 250 divided by 135 will tell me this is 1.85 something. Now remember, T is always in years, so that's 1.85 years. The question wants me to run to the nearest day, so I'm going to take all these decimals on my calculator and then times 365 and round to the nearest day, so that will take about 676 days. It would take about 676 days to actually earn $250. Okay, kind of depressing to think about it. God, you take that long to just to earn $250? Yes, in a way, yes, it does. But in the next topic, I will begin to talk about something called the compound interest formula, which is more of what investment world uses as far as investing money. Okay, there's another type of formula we're going to use. All right, so that will conclude this lecture video on how we can use simple interest formula to solve some application problem. Okay, thank you for watching.